let's talk about how transforming PBL is. And we're going to start by looking at a project in action. So what I want you to do is watch this video. It's a 4th grade class. And I want you to take notes of what you notice around project-based learning and what you wonder about. So notice and wonders. So, yes, we can go ahead and play. So while we're waiting for the video, I want you to know that this school was an underperforming school. We have underperforming schools, and so in order to continue their funding, they have to raise test scores, all right? So this school, the principal got rid of teachers who did not want to embrace PBL, and they went fully PBL, and now they're a high-performing school outside of San Jose, serving a largely Latino population.
For this project, you are going to design a home, you're going to plan a home, you're going to build a home. This project, the tiny house project, is where students are designing tiny houses. Remember, when you're going to build this, we have to think about who's living in the house. There was a boom in tiny homes, just the idea of living in one, just because in the city, the population is growing and there's more people, less room, and maybe a tiny house is more cost efficient, more green. Would you like to have your own room? Yeah. Would you like to have your own space? Yeah. Okay. The driving question was, how can we, as a design team, design a house for clients, taking into consideration budget and location and personal preferences? The entry event was Minecraft. So they used Minecraft to build just a house that they would build for their family.
This is inside the house. This is where, like, the sofa, and over here is where I sleep.
They're able to use their creativity. They're able to just be free and just to build without anybody giving them parameters. Back to our project and this driving question. What do we need to know to answer this question?
Like, say they have family that's gonna come live with them, they have to think about that. Like, have a guest room.
The Minecraft building sparked, like, how many rooms do we build? And so they came up with their need to knows. Any other need to knows you'd like to add?
You have to imagine how much it costs.
Well, we have to know, like, how many kids there are or how big the family is, and what are those questions that you think you should ask the client? And they're like, yeah. And so we come back to the driving question, we came back to the need to knows, and we came back to their entry event, just so that they can get some questions that are appropriate for their project to their clients.
What is the minimum square footage you want?
400 feet.
Do you want a second story?
Yes, second story would be good.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, that'd be cool.
I think it's important for them to know that there's a real client because it gives the project more authenticity.
Would you like to have a garden outside your house?
Yes.
When they form a relationship with the client, then they start to care about what the client thinks.
This is the final product. This is what the construction documents look like. But not too different from that concept drawing, right? We have the bedrooms up here, master bedroom in the corner.
So I asked an expert to come and present to the students, and he was actually a structural engineer.
You're going to see elevations. Just kind of look at what kind of information's on there. How do you tell a wall is a wall? You can see you put two lines parallel to one another.
And we talked about making blueprints and what does that look like, or having a layout.
Oh, look, it even has plants right here.
These are called elevations.
I think they were really excited about seeing the blueprints because it was just real things that they can hold, they can touch, and they can see, and they know that engineers touched it, and engineers made this, and this is what we're going to do. All right, we're going to move into our next rotation. On this side, we have front row and RAS kids for listening to reading and answering comprehension questions. So as we plan the project, we think about the standards that we're going to be using. In this project, we're using opinion writing or reading of informational text, and we integrate that into like a daily rotation in English language arts. So this is an article from NASA, and it's called Tiny House Fun. If you have something you want to highlight, like you want to get back to, or a word that you really don't understand and you want to learn more about that, you can highlight some words. So on that day, I had a group and we were looking at informational reading. And then another group, they were listening to a book that had to do with houses. And then another group was working on vocabulary, and all the vocabulary is part of the project. And then another group was just doing their read to self, and that's just books that they're interested in, so they're practicing reading independently. Write your name at the top. For math rotations, we call it math with the teacher, math with technology, and math with the partner. The house size that your client wanted. And then I'm working with the group, and we're really looking at area and perimeter and the difference between area and perimeter. Okay, so can you tell me what the square units are here? Another activity that we did with math was the Cheez-Its math. When they looked at square footage, we said that each Cheez-Its was 1 square inch, and they used that kind of information to do square footage within a house. It was just kind of a connection for them. To help them refine their designs of their homes, students went through a feedback protocol.
I turned the bathtub from here to here because I know that you can't get through the toilet if it was like that. There's the bathroom with the shower. Yeah.
They were paired up with another group and they presented their models, they presented their blueprints and their layout, and they talked about what was in the house and who their client was, just to get some feedback from their peers.
Our client is Miss Pena. Her age is 39. Her budget is $40,000.
Within the fishbowl protocol, what we did was, me and another teacher, we sat in front of a presenting group and everyone else looked around us, just like a fishbowl where they're not to talk, they're not to say anything, they're just really listening and seeing the interaction between the presenter and the guest.
I like how you do go into the living room, but maybe push the bedroom in the back, and then that way she has more privacy. The
purpose of looking at that interaction between the audience and the presenter is so you can think about questions, you can think about behavior within the meeting, and so they can use that as a model for when they go back to their groups.
This is the laundry area, and then here's the pantry to store all the clothes. Right here we have a little office.
We practice different ways to present to their clients. We talk about eye contact, we talk about confidence, we talk about postures, we talk about volume of your voice.
Hello, my name is America.
Hello, my name is Christopher.
And the title of our project is Tiny Houses. Our driving question of this project is, given a budget, how can we as a design team plan a home for a family?
The last day of this journey is for them to really present their work to their clients. And they were so excited.
Did you have a hard time building the house?
Kind of, yeah. We had to redo some of the walls so that they were the exact measurement.
This is the master bedroom. The middle is the kitchen. Here's a room.
They shared their blueprints, they shared their layout, they shared their budget, and they shared their opinion paragraphs that they wrote so that they can try to persuade their client to purchase their home.
Okay, what we're going to do now is I want you to take a moment to think about what some of the features are of project-based learning based on what you saw in the video. So we're going to do an activity called Think, Pair, Share. I love thinking routines like that in the classroom with kids. So we're going to take 2 minutes for you to think about what you think were the features, and then we're going to share, or pair up and share ideas. So 2 minutes to think about, I do have a, whoops, there it is. There you go. What do you think are the distinguishing features of PBL? All right, we're going to now take 2 minutes for you to share with a partner at your table group, or if you want to share with the whole group, and then we'll quickly share out some of the attributes. Any questions? So you can either share just with one other person, which is traditionally how Think, Pair, Share is done, or you can talk in your group. Go ahead and write those down, and then we'll share out. Just 2 minutes for this part of it. All right, that's time. what we're going to do, that's time, if I can get everyone's attention. With me on 3, 2, 1. All right, I want to hear about some of the features. So go ahead and raise your hand if you want to share out. Yes. Right there.
So it was about real life problem. So shall I share more? Or?
Nope, that's fine.
Just one.
So real life problem solving. And the problem that they were solving was to design a house for a client.
All right, we had real-time problem solving. Then there was collaborative approach, integrated, active learning, student-centric, and interaction between the students.
Okay, we saw collaborate. Yes.
So anything, whatever was related to the task, irrespective of the age, like they were talking to engineers, so that age has nothing to do if it is relatable. So this was so important, and confidence was being gained at every step. So when they were interviewing the adult, because normal concept says that adults know more than you. So that's a myth. And then they had all the answers from their own experiences, which was the beauty.
Great.
Can I? Yeah. Guiding the students at every point of time. It was like answering their questions. It was not a question which was asked by the teacher, or it was like guiding their questions, supporting the students with more resource, looking out for external resource, internal resource, and then connecting with their clients or the project that they're working with.
So they used experts, they had clients that they were working with. I'm going to take 2 more.
Ma'am, generally when we are talking about a group PBL, when more people are engaged into it, they got to know their best suited skill in which they have to work upon further in order to enhance it. Because if we give every task to everyone, although they would be doing it, but they won't be able to find their best suited skill.
Right. And I think you bring up a very good point. You don't just throw kids into a group and say collaborate, right? You need to scaffold that. You need to teach them what it looks like so that they're able to assess themselves. I think I had one more person back here. Yes.
Most of them are covered. I think reflection and feedback. They could talk to their audience, their clients, and then remodel their structure. I think that was one of the properties. And authenticity and ownership. They were more interested, curious, because they took the ownership. I think that was important.
So that critique and revision is really important because we want kids to create beautiful work. We want them to create beautiful work for their client or whoever they're presenting their product to. I'm going to take one more.
What fascinated me the most was the involvement of the community. Like here, the clients were there, an expert had come. So, when the children step out of the school, when they step in the real world, they won't hesitate to communicate or understand other people. So that was really amazing.
I think y'all can go home now. I think you got PBL down. One more.
I like the most here that the problem was picked up was the local problem. And then it was easy for children to communicate to the local people and find out a very simple solution to their problems. So that is more effective here.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Cross-curricular. So that is a hallmark. You don't necessarily start there, but yes, she was doing math, ELA, engineering. All right, sir, one more idea.
Yeah, ma'am. First, I have noticed that some students are so not interested or they are passive, but after when the class become the class democratic, then they start to collaborate with each other and they cooperate each other. And I have found that some passive students also participate in that collaboration. And also I found that they have a critical thinking, they become more critical. And they start to think the new ideas, how we can make the homes and what kinds of homes can be made. And also by collaboratively, many new ideas will be generated and they are able to make the prototype of house. So they got the deep knowledge. So I think that is why PBL is more necessary. Thank you.
They worked with experts. You heard them when the expert said, and these are the elevations, and they were going, oh my goodness. So they were very engaged to be able to interact with experts. All right.
So this was, I understood that students are learning life skills also because they are being empathetic towards the stakeholders, and they are trying to make prototypes on the basis of that. So children are learning about life skills as well. Yeah, thank you.
So we can call those success skills. We also call them 21st century skills. And I was thinking about what Vishnu was saying, why. But what I realized is we just stopped teaching those skills. I mean, if you go back, way back in time where you learn through mentors or doing, you know, just like your powerful learning experiences. So project-based learning is an approach just like what you were talking about that extends to the real world. It has meaning. So when we write, we're writing for a purpose. When we're doing math and computing different calculations, we're doing that for a purpose. So another hallmark is inquiry and exploration, and you saw how she asked the kids to generate their questions. And so when I first started doing project-based learning, my notion of inquiry was, you're going to just do some research. That's it. But it's much more than that. That they can gain a lot of information through interviews, through field studies, through experiments, or even conducting surveys and questionnaires about an issue in their community. It's active learning. And through active learning, we increase the voice and choice, which you were all talking about. It's so much more student-centered rather than teacher-centered. It builds on problem solving and the critique and revision process. We never want a kid to be one and done. Any piece of work can be improved. And then reflection, which is the key to metacognition. We want to really build those in for the kids. Collaboration, we talked about that. It builds empathy and understanding and helps kids understand multiple perspectives. It encourages that creativity and innovation that we want them to be doing, right? It increases the retention of the content, of the skills that we're developing, and it builds self-esteem. And it also really creates that social emotional learning piece, right? So they're beginning to become more aware of their own emotions. They had a public product in the end. It was their design for their house for their client. Their audience was their client, very real. So oftentimes it can culminate with a presentation or exhibition, which a lot of the schools do. What I love about those is kids have to show what they know. They have to talk about what they learned. And then thinking about a product that goes beyond the four walls of the classroom. It could be a website, it could be a podcast, it could be a documentary about an issue, or it can be a call to action. So kids are passionate about an issue in their community, their school community, and they do a call to action to get other people engaged. So assessment of the process and products. Assessment in PBL will look different. It's similar to what we do, but it's going to look a bit different. And the whole purpose behind that piece, the formative assessments, is we want to move them to beautiful work. And so we build in formative assessments. We want to assess an individual product. So if you're doing grades, if parents come in and go, they were working in a group of 4, my kid did all the work. So what I do is I have an individual product, I assess that to get my grade, and then we work on a collaborative, which is that innovative piece of project-based learning. I don't grade it, but I assess it. So just in terms of formative and summative, we use formative throughout the project. We help the kids to begin to set their own goals. It helps them become more self-directed. The why is we want to identify any gaps in their learning. So then we can go in and reteach it, but we don't reteach it to the whole group. We reteach it to the students who still need some more practice. So we do skill development in PBL. We practice in PBL. And then the how for formative is a variety of low-stakes assignments, checkpoints, and reflections. Of course, the summative comes at the end, and that's the final product that you're assessing. So I think I'm at time, is that correct? Okay, so I'm not going to go into the research behind the effectiveness of PBL. There's tons out there, and there's really no denying Lucas Foundation. If you want to get some data around that, check them out. I just want to end with a personal story. PBL transformed my life. So when I entered high school, I was so turned off from school. I couldn't memorize. I didn't know why we were doing what we were doing. I was very, you want to kind of, let's get up and do something. And so I got kicked out. So there were 4 teachers there that did only place-based learning. So I grew up on an island where they incarcerated the first Japanese American citizens during World War II and incarcerated them for 4 to 5 years during World War II. So what we did is we collected oral histories about their experience, both their resilience, their challenges, and the strengths about that. I was so engaged. I never missed a day of school. And then my teacher said, what do you want to do? And I said, I want to go to school and become a teacher because I know there are kids out there just like me. I wouldn't be here today doing what I'm doing if it was not for that alternative, quote, dropout school. So I know the transformative power, and I'm sure you have seen it in the students that you serve. All right, we're going to end with a reflection. We're going to forget about the research. It's there. Can someone read this quote out loud? How about from this table?
Education must be rooted in the culture and ethos of the people, for only then can it foster the creativity and wisdom necessary for true learning.
So true. All right, we're going to do reflection 2. What are your hopes and hesitations around creating space for PBL on your campus? What do you hope for? What might bring up some hesitations? And 2, what support might you need to help you deal with any of these challenges? So we're going to take a few moments to journal down in our journal, and then we're going to do something with that. And it's the second reflection in your learning log. Page number 8. All right, find a good place to land in your reflection. So what we're going to do with our reflection is we're going to do an activity called Mix and Mingle. I want to give you another opportunity to meet and connect with somebody else in the room that you have not had a chance to connect with. We're going to be creating an amazing network of educators and school leaders. So with the Mix and Mingle, we're going to do 3 rounds. And you're going to have 2 minutes. So you're going to go, you're going to meet up with one person. You're going to have 1 minute to share your hopes first. Please start with your hopes. You don't even have to go to hesitations or even what support. And then we're going to switch it, and your partner gets another minute. And then we're going to move around and find a new person. So I want to give you an opportunity to really connect with people in the room. Any questions about that? All right, so I'm going to have you stand up, find a partner. If you see a person that doesn't have a partner, you can do triads. Stand up, find a partner. All right, that is time That is the end of round one. Can you be with me on 5, 4, 3, 2, 1? You need to listen up for the next instruction. I hate to break up your conversations. All right, I want you to find a new partner. We're going to do a new round. Go ahead and find a new partner that you have not spoken to. All right, that is time. Thank your partner. Maybe meet up for dinner tonight. And we're going to mosey back to our tables. So if you can hear me, raise your hand. Okay, I have 2 people that can hear me. Raise your hand. All right, come on back, because we have another great presentation.